Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, NFL content, all that good stuff. All these videos, they get posted onto this subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports. You can find my username Shook. I'll just have it linked down below. I answer all your questions leading up to lock. You can just talk with me anytime you want. Yeah, I'll have that link down below. And then if you ever need to get a hold of me privately on Twitter, you can. I post NBA props on here, NFL props. You can message me, comment here. I'll leave that down below as well. And then as always, if you're looking for more, in-depth content, I'll have my Discord link down below where I give you guys player pools, private videos, sports books, prize picks, whole bunch of stuff that will be linked down below as well. All right, we're back, guys. We got NBA back. Absolutely so excited that NBA is back. Been a long wait, man. Been a long wait. So hopefully you guys have had a pretty good offseason. We got a 2-game slate. We're just going to get through this pretty quickly. We'll get right out of here. Without further ado, let's first take a look at my results from last year. As always, we do recap how I did the year prior. This is my NBA results for last year. You can see I have the dates up right here. So you can see that I am not like manipulating anything. You can see the dates from when NBA started, NBA ended. Don't know if those are the exact dates, but I know it's before NBA started and then after NBA ended. Had a 10% ROI in NBA last year. And then these are my full results for my career. 17% ROI on NBA. So very, very good. I would assume probably one of the higher ROIs in the industry, mainly as a single entry player. So yeah, super excited. And let's just get right through this. Like news that we have to keep an eye on. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson's out. Preston Chu is out. For Boston, we have Kristaps Porzingis out here. Minnesota, we obviously have the trades that went on with Minnesota and the New York Knicks. We have Mikal Bridges on this team. No Julius Randle anymore. Karl-Anthony Towns on this team. And then Minnesota obviously got Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo in those trades. Lakers, they didn't do anything. They're running it back, but we do have Jared Vanderbilt out and Christian Wood out. So let's just start it off with the Knicks. So this game, actually we can go over the totals for these games as well since 2-game slate. I usually don't do this for main slates since it just takes a lot longer, but we can do it for this game. New York, Boston, 221.5 total, and then Minnesota, LA, 219 total. So I think what you can expect from this game is just a lot of good defense, right? Both these teams, I'm expecting to be two of the better defensive teams in the league, but I still think we can get some pretty good plays here. So with Kristaps Porzingis out, you're going to get a starting lineup of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, and then you're going to see some Peyton Pritchard off the bench. You're going to see some Sam Hauser off the bench, and then you'll probably see some Luke Cornett, and then possibly some Xavier Tillman. So 8-9 man rotation I'm basically expecting here. They could dust off some others, but those are going to be the main guys that you're going to be seeing basically off of the bench here. All right, with Cat at center, I think it's a fine spot for Al Horford. I think Al Horford at 5.2K, I would say is one of the better value plays on the slate. If you look at the range of like this 5K range, I think there's some pretty good plays here. I think you have Josh Hart at 5.6K. It looks pretty good to me. I think OG Anunoby looks pretty good. You have Al Horford there, who I like quite a bit. Dante, I like as a GPP play tomorrow. And then, yeah, Drew Holiday. Austin Reeves kind of dealing with an injury, but interest there. D'Lo, this mid-range looks pretty solid for value. Generally in the beginning of the year, the prices are going to be down a bit, but yeah, I think, where was I? Was I on Boston? I do think Al Horford at 5.2K is a solid value. Hopefully, yeah, I was on Boston. Excuse me if I'm going backwards here, but yeah, I like Al Horford at 5.2K. He's a guy that can do a bit of everything, right? I would expect high 20s minutes, maybe around 30. Guy that can, basically going to shoot from 3, can grab a couple rebounds, get you a few assists. Got stat sheet stuffer. He looks good, like a pretty good value at 5.2K. As far as values off the bench go, I don't like a ton here. I think Peyton Pritchard is intriguing at 4.7K. Would much prefer playing him to like Sam Hauser or Xavier Tillman, but Tillman is a fine dart if you're playing like 150 max. I think that's okay, but mainly looking to like a Peyton Pritchard possibly off the bench. And then I think I like Drew Holiday and Derek White in the mid range. I would say they're pretty similar plays to like Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell. I'd rather probably play like a D'Angelo Russell over those guys, but I think they're both decent as well. And Jason Tatum, I think, is going to be one of the more popular spend-ups on the slate. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I was looking at some projections already, and he's projected as one of the I think the highest spend-up on the slate. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but should play big minutes. He's 9K. He definitely is too cheap. He's their go-to guy. No Porzingis, going to grab rebounds, statue stuff. I think it's fine. I think he might go a little bit over-owned. I think there's some other spots that I'd like to take advantage. I think there's guys cheaper that I like more than him. I think Anthony Edwards I like quite a bit. I like Anthony Davis. Like, if Tatum's going to be one of the most popular spend-ups on the slate, I think you could get away from him, but he does look pretty good. And then Jaylen Brown, no thank you. It's a really, really tough matchup here. I think Brown's fine. I think there's just other guys that I'd rather play around them. So, like, really, really tough spots for these guys. Like, I'm expecting OG on Tatum, Bridges on Jaylen Brown, so really tough spot for both of them. So I think, I'd rather target some other spots elsewhere. I think Tatum's a good play. I think Brown, like I said, is fine. I think I'll probably look elsewhere for Jaylen Brown. I'm more so liking this like value right here. But yeah, Tatum, one of the better spots on the slate. He'll be popular though. And yeah, like Al Horford, I think Drew, Derek White, fine. Peyton Pritchard, I think is fine off the bench. So yeah, I think this Boston team is okay. Then we get on to the Knicks. So you're going to get a starters of Jalen Brunson, Caleb Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns. Then we get to my favorite play on the slate here. That's Karl-Anthony Towns to get such a boost at the 5. I think anyone fading Karl-Anthony Towns tomorrow is just probably burning money at 7.8K. I think he's one of the best plays in the slate. I absolutely love Karl-Anthony Towns at that price point. Jalen Brunson at 8.7K, he's probably going to lose a little bit of usage with Karl-Anthony Towns on this team and Mikal Bridges, but there was a quote, and Josh Hart said himself he wasn't going to take that many shots this year, so that's going to hurt Josh Hart's ceiling, but he's still a guy that's going to grab a ton of rebounds. If he scores the ball, that's when he's going to have a really high ceiling. I do think he is one of the better mid-range values on the slate at 5.6K, just because, listen, who are the Knicks going to play? They're going to play Brunson. They're going to play Cat. They're going to play Mikal. They're going to play Hart. They're going to play OG. They're probably going to play some campaign. But, like, who else are we playing here? Jericho Sims will probably get some backup 5. Who else are we playing? I'm expecting them to run the starters into the ground here. I would say mid-30s minutes probably. So, like, yeah, Josh Hart, I think is really good. I think OG is really good. Mikal at 6.8K, I would say is more priced right. And then, yeah, I absolutely love Karl-Anthony Towns. Brunson, I think, is decent. I think I'd rather play Anthony Edwards at a similar price point. But, yeah, really like Cat. Josh Hart, I think, is really solid. But that quote where he said he wasn't going to shoot as much this year is a little bit concerning. But I think he can get there on peripherals alone. And then OG, I think, is decent. And then, if you want to take some shots on the campaign, I think it's fine. Miles McBride, I actually like quite a bit at 3.6K. I mean, look at the bench, right? He's going to have to play some minutes, I would assume. So I think Miles McBride is actually decent value at 3.6K. And then, yeah, I think that's going to do it for the Knicks guys. I think favorite play, Cat, probably my favorite play on the slate, to be honest. And then Josh Hart, OG. Those guys I'd rank behind him point per dollar. All right, let's move on to Minnesota. So starters, you're going to get Conley, Ant, McDaniels, Randall, and Gobert. You're probably going to see some. You're going to see some Dante off the bench, Naz Reid off the bench, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker off the bench. I would assume those are the main guys that are going to get most of the run off of the bench here. I really like Anthony Edwards at 8.8K. I really like him. Good matchup going up against the Lakers. Sub 9K. I think he's going to have an even better year this year. I really like Ant. Hard for me to get to Randall when Ant's at that similar price point. Going to be interesting to see what Randall's role is going to be, but I think he's firmly in play. Another guy I really like here is Rudy Gobert at 6.7K. No Cat. He's going to get a big bump. He's going to have to play more minutes, right? I really like Rudy Gobert at 6.7K. Mike Conley's fine. Just there for me in the mid-range at 5.5K. I don't love him. I think I'd rather play those mid-range guys that we already went over, like Al Horford, like a OG, like a Josh Hart, those guys. I'd rather play Mike Conley over McDaniels at least. And then Dante, I like quite a bit off the bench. I don't think a lot of people are going to be playing any Dante tomorrow, but specifically a good spot for him, right? He's a guy that's going to chuck when he's out there. Lakers do give up a decent amount of 3-point shooting. I like Dante quite a bit off the bench tomorrow. I think he's a really good GPP play tomorrow that I don't think a ton of people are going to be on. So he's a guy I do like tomorrow quite a bit in GPPs. And then Nas Reed, I think is a really good value at 4.9K. NAW, no thank you. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for the Timberwolves. Let's move on to the Lakers. Tough spot here for the Lakers. You're going to get starters of AD, LeBron, D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Then you're probably going to see some like what Connect, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes off the bench, some Christie possibly. So with that being said, looking at this team, obviously it's a tough spot going up against Timberwolves. I think D'Lo at 6.2K stands out. You know, of course, AD and LeBron, they're going to dominate the usage here, but like you're going to get some playmaking from D'Lo, the guards, etc. So I think D'Lo does stand out in the mid range. I think LeBron, AD are both good. If I had to pick one, I would prefer AD to LeBron James. And then Rui, I think, is fine for value. Just another guy that's there in the mid range that I don't mind. As far as like any bench pieces, I don't think there's much I'd really play here off of the bench. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it, guys. Just a little 2-game slate, a little quick video. We'll get into the 10-game slate on Wednesday tomorrow. And I don't think I missed anything. Like as far as spend ups go, I really like Ant. I think Tatum's gonna be popular. It's fine. I like AD quite a bit. Brunson, I think, is okay. I prefer Ant to Brunson. Cat, I think, is one of my probably my favorite play on the slate. And then Rudy Gobert, I love in the mid range as well. Just with no Cat, he's going to get a pretty big bump. The mid range here, I like quite a bit. Josh Hart, OG, D'Lo. Austin Reeves was dealing with an injury in the preseason, but it looks like he's going to be good to go. Keep an eye on minutes there. Could take it easy on his minutes, I suppose. And then like, yeah, value. I like Al Horford. What else? Nas Reed, Peyton Pritchard, you could throw darts at. What else? Miles McBride, I think, is decent. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for the slate, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great off season, and I will talk to y'all in the next video.